Hey, today I'm summarizing Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Spoiler alert, major twists ahead. Watch first if you haven't read it. Link to buy is in the description. Jules Larson got a new job as an apartment sitter at the Bartholomew, and she felt delighted. She was currently staying at her best friend's apartment since she couldn't afford to rent her own yet. She had lost her job on the same day she lost her boyfriend. When she got home from her last day at work, she found her boyfriend in the apartment they rented, sleeping with another woman. Aside from Chloe, she had no one. Her parents were dead, and her only sister Jane had been missing for years, probably already dead. Jules thought that staying at the Bartholomew would be perfect for her. She would only need to stay there for 3 months, and she would be paid $40 per month. Even though Chloe was skeptical about this, Jules insisted on taking the job. Once she was at the Bartholomew, she was informed of the rules. No visitors allowed. She must sleep in her apartment 12 every night, and she should not disturb or mingle with the other residents. Jules found the building a little creepy, but she disregarded that because she needed the money. She was told that the apartment owner had just died, and the relatives were still fighting over who should inherit it. So in the meantime, she was hired to stay and look after the apartment. Jules met other apartment sitters, Dylan and Ingrid. Dylan had been around for 2 months, and Ingrid for 2 weeks. Jules and Ingrid's first meeting was unfortunate. They bumped into each other in the lobby, and Jules got injured on her arm. Leslie Evelyn, the woman who manages the Bartholomew, took Jules to a resident doctor. That's how Jules met Nick, an attractive surgeon. To apologize, Ingrid invited Jules to the park. They talked about themselves, exchanged numbers, took a selfie, and arranged to meet every day during lunch to eat in the garden. Ingrid also gave Jules a nickname, Juju. The next day, Jules waited in the park for Ingrid, but she didn't show up. She texted her while waiting for 2 hours. Eventually, she gave up and decided to go to Ingrid's apartment. When she knocked, she was greeted by Leslie Evelyn, who was cleaning the apartment. Leslie informed her that Ingrid had left the night before around 1 a.m. and had left her key at the lobby. Jules found this very odd and grew suspicious, because just the day before, Ingrid had said she needed the money. Jules also felt uneasy because she had heard a scream at midnight and believed it was Ingrid. She even went to her apartment, where Ingrid looked scared, but insisted she was okay. Jules had assumed she'd imagined the scream. Jules kept looking for Ingrid because it just didn't make sense that she would leave so abruptly. Then, she found a note from Ingrid in the dumbwaiter. The message said, "Be careful," along with a key to a storage unit in the basement. Jules went to the basement and found a gun inside a shoebox. She kept it, believing Ingrid had left it for her. She began discussing this with other residents, even though it was against the rules. She also told Dylan, who was shocked but didn't seem to care much. Jules spoke with Greta Manfield, the author of her favorite book, Heart of a Dreamer. Greta said she had met Ingrid once but didn't really talk to her. Jules also asked for help from the attractive Dr. Nick. He helped her get into Ingrid's apartment to search for clues. The only thing she found was a copy of Heart of a Dreamer, which had a note from Greta. Jules recognized it as Ingrid's because she had seen it on her Instagram. She found it strange that Greta claimed not to have interacted with Ingrid, yet gave her a signed copy of her book. After Nick helped Jules, she had sex with him and spent the night in his apartment. Later, Jules found a cell phone in her apartment that looked like it had fallen. She charged it, and when she saw the lock screen, the girl in the photo looked familiar. She realized the picture matched one from a missing person poster she'd seen outside. She dialed the number on the sign, and to her surprise, Dylan answered. He and Jules arranged to meet at a museum because they believed they were being watched at the Bartholomew. Dylan told her about Erica, the apartment sitter, before Jules, who had disappeared without any notice. Leslie Evelyn told Dylan that Erica wasn't comfortable with the rules, so she left. Dylan found this odd because he had been hooking up with Erica, and she never mentioned having any problems with the management. Since the phone was locked, they each paid $500 to have it unlocked. Once it was accessible, they went through the call logs, messages, and photos. While Jules was alone in her apartment, still going through the phone, she discovered a video. In it, Erica looked terrified. Someone knocked at the door near the end of the video, and Erica exclaimed, "It's him." Jules was left wondering who Erica was referring to. Jules finally got a clue when she texted Ingrid and, to her surprise, received a reply saying not to worry because she was okay. At first, she was relieved, but she quickly grew suspicious. Ingrid refused to take any calls. Jules asked her what her nickname was, and the response claimed she didn't have one. Wrong. Ingrid had given her the nickname Juju. That's when Jules realized only one person knew she didn't have a nickname, and that was Nick. Jules started researching, and here's what she found out. The previous owner of the apartment was Marjorie Milton. Jules looked her up online and discovered that she was still alive, contrary to what she had been told. She tracked Marjorie down and saw her in person, but didn't say anything. However, Jules noticed her brooch, an Ouroboros, the same symbol she had seen in Nick's apartment. She looked it up and concluded it had something to do with the rituals at the Bartholomew. Jules then received a call from Bobby, a woman she had met at the shelter while searching for Ingrid. Bobby told her that she had found Ingrid. Jules and Ingrid spoke and came to the conclusion that the residents of the Bartholomew were part of a cult that sacrificed someone every blue moon as an offering to the devil. Jules also discovered that Nick's last name was Bartholomew was related to Greta. That night happened to be the next blue moon, so Jules rushed back to the Bartholomew to warn Dylan and escape while Ingrid hid. But when she knocked on Dylan's apartment, Leslie Evelyn was already cleaning up. Jules then went to her own apartment to grab a few things before leaving, but Nick suddenly appeared. It turned out he had access to a secret passage behind the bookshelf. Jules ran and fought back. She managed to escape from Nick and made it to the highway, but then she was hit by a car. She was taken to the hospital, or so she thought. When she woke up, she was surrounded by unfamiliar doctors and nurses. Then Nick appeared. He told her the operation had been successful. As she lay in the hospital bed, Nick explained everything. Their initial theory about a cult and sacrifices was just a myth. The real purpose of the Bartholomew was to provide the rich and influential with healthcare that was inaccessible to the poor. The apartment sitters were used as donor-son-willing organ donors for the residents, who were actually patients. Dylan's heart was given to Leonard, a senator. As for Jules, her kidney was taken and given to Greta, the author. Her other organs were already allocated. Her liver would go to Marianne, the actress, and her heart to the daughter of Charlie, the doorman who had always been kind to her. Jules felt helpless. She was being prepared for another surgery, but she fought back. She didn't swallow the pills. When one of the employees accidentally dropped a lighter, she picked it up and waited for the right moment. She started by setting her hospital bed on fire. Once the fire alarm blared, she ran out of the room and continued spreading the fire. Nick caught her, but she managed to hurt him and escape from the Bartholomew. The Bartholomew burned, and its dark secrets were exposed. Charges were filed against the residents, except for Greta, who had disappeared. Nick took his own life by jumping from the Bartholomew just like his grandfather had. Eventually, the building was demolished. Jules stayed at Chloe's apartment. Chloe had moved in with her boyfriend. Ingrid and Bobby shared a place of their own. They were all safe now. The End of Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Other important details. There was an earlier fire at the Bartholomew when Mr. Leonard fainted and accidentally dropped a pot. The fire caused only minimal damage, thanks to Chloe, who helped Greta escape the building safely. Later, during Jules's final escape, Greta played a crucial role by protecting Hirsch refused to tell Leslie Evelyn where Jules was hiding, ultimately helping her get out. Jules also carried deep personal trauma. Her sister Jane had gone missing years ago and was never found. Her parents died in a house fire, which was later revealed to be staged. Jules's mother was seriously ill, and her father, struggling financially and without a stable job, took out a life insurance policy. In a desperate act, he set the fire that killed both of them, leaving Jules the car keys and access to a storage unit that held her and Jane's belongings. Despite the insurance policy, Jules never received any payout. And that's the end of Lock Every Door. If you liked this summary, hit like, comment your thoughts, and check the link in my bio to grab the book. Don't forget to subscribe for more summaries. See you next time.